Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to Planet Coaster, working on RallyLand. We have just finished up our first area, the Wales Rally. I actually found a couple of new props off camera to add to the area that dressed this area up real nice. I like it a bunch, even though our scenery rating is still subpar. Low. Ridiculous. I don't think any of the rides that I'm going to build are going to have a high scenery rating just because it's such a natural themed park due to the theme that we have, making it areas after rally areas. And what I had hinted at is that the next area I would make would be probably Sweden. In fact, I released a video yesterday that was the Swedish Rally. And wouldn't you know it, the game fought back. Apparently, you can't mix snowy areas and, summertime green lush areas. There's some very basic snow blocks and rocks, but to try and make a whole area snowy with these little squares would be less than ideal. You can't paint the ground snow, nothing like that. So I'm gonna go for something else. Maybe the opposite. How about we do Greece? The dry, somewhat deserty. It's like almost savanna-ish, but it has real aggressive cliffs in it, mountains, boulders. There is some trees, some like the scraggly looking trees and stuff like that. So it's not exactly a desert like you would think of, Wild Wild West kind of desert. It's its own different kind of area. Definitely need to get rid of the roller coaster here, and this one as well. Might just move this stuff around. I don't know that this actually does anything, to be honest. Oh, well, absolutely not. It's closed. Well, we'll open that up so we can actually do something. That was a waste of money. And probably move Hat's fantastic. And we'll start work on the path or entryway to Greece. And maybe I'm going to do things a little differently here. I think I'm going to do all the scenery first and then put in rides. Because we have $30,000 in the bank. I am spending a lot of money right now on research. Yeah, $3,000 a month, but that's almost done. I'm working towards getting to the wooden roller coaster because before we can do Finland, I want to have the wooden roller coaster. Basically, all of the efforts I have going in research right now are towards that, and hopefully we'll get some new rides to put in Greece as well. As of right now, I have no idea what kind of rides to put in Greece. I just have a good idea about the scenery and what it should look like. So let's get started on seeing if I can live up to that. Let's see about deleting this ride. Dang it doesn't delete the scenery. Hey guys, Yola is going to be super concerned about you guys floating in the air, but you need to tell her that you're going to be okay. You're all going to be okay. Let's also get rid of this one. Gone. And then I guess I'll have to delete the scenery by hand. Looks that way. The good news is that got us some money back. We're up to $35,000 with that. The bad news is, of course, we lost a couple of rides there. Hey, how you guys doing? Fine? Just hanging around? That's great. Hope you're having fun. All right, well, I will unpause for a moment here to get the people out of the air. I want to go to normal speed, though. Yeah, there we go. All right, yeah, you see everybody gets grouped up, and they'll find their way back to paths. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I have no idea if that's true or not. But I also need to get rid of some of these paths. That I know for a fact. And then I think once I get rid of all of this, this is a little derpy. There's got to be just a, tool that's a bulldozer or something. Maybe not. Okay, all of that is gone. How about we move TF2 Simulator for a moment? We'll move it over to, what is it, Control Z maybe? Z. It doesn't up at all. We'll move that over here. Out of the way. Is it still open? Let's make sure it's open. It is not open. Okay, so I need to click it and open it. There we go. Back in business. We can get rid of the random flames. That didn't need to be there at all, but I was just learning how to do that kind of stuff. Alright. And now, I would say that is probably enough area to start the entryway to Greece. Actually, I moved the, let me Google that for you right up front. Let's make sure that's open. It is. The window's open. Alright. Now we're good to go. We are set and ready. Research reveal. Let's see. Coal transporter. What is this? It's a train. That's actually... I feel like the train is actually pretty good for Greece. That might work out just fine. Is there any new... Yes! Score! Wooden coaster. Alright, well that one will be for much later, so we won't do a bunch of money into that. But that makes me happy. That is good. And how is the overall park doing? Guests are pretty happy. Just want to make sure we're not, like, getting in trouble with anything. Looney Balloons 3 looks busy. Everybody wants the balloons. Will's Rally must be full. Gem Knight thinks I need longer queues on everything, and I think he's probably right. But my old Roller Coaster Tycoon ways tell me probably not to do that, but I'll try and put longer queues on things. Yeah, look at that. People are getting turned away. Sorry. Very sorry. Alright, so I'm going to be spending a good bit of time here on terrain. I'll try to keep you as part of it as much as I can, but sometimes I get a little carried away with it. It's nice that the painting of the ground doesn't cost money, because that would get pricey if I had to pay, you know, like, per tile for this. But we're going to make it into this rocky dirt, which is pretty good. It's pretty accurate. And I think it will look better once it's not so tiled on flat land. Which it certainly won't be flat by the time we're done with it. Absolutely not. And it's going to go way out to here, we'll say. Interesting that you can change the terrain outside of the park bounds. That is nice. That's a nice thing. Can you actually make mountains out there too? Let's see. That's... doesn't seem to be doing anything over there. No, it just makes things green for some reason. Okay, whatever. Is this going to make it green? Oh, it does. Alright, well that was a waste of time. That was a waste of time. Alright, so we need big hills. I'm going to make a huge cliff face right here at the entrance. Max intensity, please. Alright, I'm talking real tall here. So let's get to the height. And then I can match... I think there's like a level tool. Right? Flatten the foundation. Smooth. Oh, there's not really. Huh. Flatten the surface. Yeah, that'll probably do it. That's probably... let's see. That's probably a good base height for the entrance area. But we're going to need to go taller than that. I mean, Greece is not mountains. It's not quite as hilly as Finland, but there is a lot of ground made up. Like when you go from the bottom of a stage to the top of a stage, there's many occasions where there's quite an elevation. Think of the areas with the hairpins. A lot of elevation there. So I would think we're going to get gradually taller towards the back here. So let's see if we can do that. It's going to be an expensive thing. We're putting in a lot of dirt here. A lot of dirt. Get it? Dirt. It's funny. Alright, let's see if the flatten works. Yes, it does. Very nice. Yeah, very expensive. That is 1,000 right there, but we do have a lot of money in the bank. And as long as I get it up to this height, then building the hills won't be as expensive. Is that enough room, you think? No, probably a bit more than that. Alright, there we go. We're going to need more hills than that, though. Like I said, we want it to gradually get taller as we move back. And then, of course, I have to roughen all of this up as well. That's not bad. It looks a little blobby right now because we haven't roughened anything up. But I think once I start to roughen things and add in some cliffs, maybe a little valley down here in the middle, and then roughen that, let's see what the roughening will do for us. Where is that tool? Right there. Alright. High strength. So, little stabs at it. Alright game, I could really use it to be daytime right now. That would be very helpful. Some of this does start to look a little noodly. Let me wait for daytime real quick. I love the way the place looks at night, but it's a little hard to work in. There we go. Daytime has approacheth. Around with this chisel tool a little bit. That's actually giving me some of those angle cuts that reminds me a little bit more of Greece. And the way its terrain looks. Pretty useful tool. Some bits where we've gone a little too far with it. That's alright, you can just make it work. And then of course we'll need some smooth areas to actually put paths and stuff in. We can do that as we go here. Get rid of some of the weird little ripples that get introduced with the roughen tool. Let's see if we can make this a weird looking cliff with the angle. There we go. I'm doing some weird stuff here. Alright. That's great and all, but it's kind of made some caves and things like that that's not exactly right for theme. Thank you for the soft, dulcet tones, Planet Coaster. Really bringing down the interior calm. It's looking all right. See, I don't want the round, very blobby looking shapes. Things are sharp. Things are harsh. Here in Greece. Yeah, that kind of shape there. That's a little bit more like it. Maybe overhang right there. Then we gotta smooth that out a little bit. Nice, nice. Okay. So what would that say look like with... Gosh, I really think we need just an area. Well, I guess this would be that area, and we could flatten. Let's see. How could we flatten? So that flattens just surface. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. So that you could have like some S's, you know, like the hairpins, that area. Now, how do we make that kind of go downhill a little bit? Just push it down, I guess. Let's bring the intensity down, the sides up. Nice, see, that's what I'm talking about. Nice cliff face here. So as it wraps around this area, there's a very sharp cliff side right next to it. Let's see if we can do this. Yeah. That's the kind of look we're talking about, where when you go off the edge, you plummet. And then we'll put some trees and stuff down in there. Kind of a small area, but I mean, we have, I would say, probably 2 more complete themed areas, and the Finland one's going to be huge. For what I have in my mind, the Finland area would be gigantic. The Germany area probably similarly small, but very flat in that one. So we'll have to really think on themes in that one. Hopefully that go-kart thing I've heard rumors of comes true, because that would be very helpful. Okay, we're gonna need a lot of trees along the edge here to hide the background a bit. All right, painting it in here, giving it the dirty kind of look instead of the grassy look. I think I'm also gonna do another big sharp cliffside over here, and I need to roughen up this side a bit, because that's looking. See the. That's a bummer that it gets rid of the texture when you're messing with the terrain, but that's okay. Yeah, how is that for an edge? That's a little bit more what I was thinking of. Just a little bit of roughing on it, not too much. There we go. That's looking better. That's making me happy. And we'll paint in some of that, but leave some of it rocky. The rocks are good too for the look. Give it a little bit of the dirt at the bottom. Very nice. Yeah, that's looking pretty good there. That is looking pretty good. Should I try? Can I try and continue it along this edge? Like I said, to kind of hide the fact that it's not continuing off into the distance here. How about a couple of cool archways? Yes, that's pretty cool. I like that. That was a accidental thing I just did there that worked out quite nicely. And then we'll just kind of paint in the distance here a little bit. And that will fill in the area pretty well. I'm happy with that. And yeah, there is still some trees and stuff in here. It's not completely barren. So now let's look at the scenery. Let's look at the trees. Or just tree. Wild Blue 1 is getting very old. Consider replacing it. Well, it still has quite a good queue, so I see no reason to. And Will's Rally Water Splash has been fixed. Don't see anything else too pressing. Obviously, we're losing money because we're spending a lot of money on this scenery. All right, now placing trees is one of the most sadly frustrating things to do because there's no like brushes for it like I kind of hoped there would be. So this I will probably be doing some cuts on. Oh man, these are like the perfect color rocks. But I'm gonna be spending a long time doing the rocks. Because man, are those ever important in this area. They have left quite a mark on us over the years. Alright, I think that's good for now. It might look a little out of place as it is, but I think once we get paths and rides in here, it will make a lot more sense. And these rides are going to be, I believe, probably one of the tracked rides, that coal train thingamajig. And they're going, the coal train I'm thinking is probably just going to be running through the terrain. And then probably either a roller coaster or some other kind of tracked ride that really runs through the terrain. Really going to run like through the cliff sides and things like that. Maybe pop through here. So that'll be important for that. Kind of wish I hadn't painted that all dirt. Can I undo that? Is that possible? It just goes back to whatever it was, which is grass. But I can just plop in a little bit of dry grass up there, I guess, and some sand to get rid of that. I guess we can put rock on it. Oh yeah, we can do that. There we go. That's perfect. Exactly what I wanted. Thanks, game. You're okay. Alright. I'm getting way carried away, guys. Oh, I knew it was gonna happen. Knew it was gonna happen. Alright, so we need a path to get into here. Wild Blue 1, you need some help. Do you need maintenance? You're getting there. It's 1,300 bucks. Do we really need this ride to be here for much longer? Is it making money? Barely. Let's just can it, I think. In fact, we only have 17,000, so I guess fix it. Let's see. The path shouldn't be terribly expensive, though. And let's change up the look. How about the sandstone? That's a better look, I think, for this area. And then we want to go up, which is something. There is a button to do so. Is it just click and drag? Yeah, that's right. Just click and drag. Definitely want it to be... let's actually get rid of all of this. Let's get rid of all the old path. Let's start from the beginning. There we go. Path, will you tunnel? Or will paths not tunnel? It's seeming like paths will not tunnel at the moment. But I feel like that's probably not true. Yeah, it seems like they won't tunnel, actually. You'd probably have to manually tunnel them. Well, that's okay. We can keep going upwards, I suppose. I feel like the AI are going to have problems with that, so let's maybe not do that quite so aggressively. Have to move that tree, I think. Oh man, I feel like the AI are going to be having all sorts of issues here. I did not expect to not be able to tunnel, so I might have to go into landscape here and try and punch a hole through this mountain. Let's see if we can do that. Hole punched! That was easier than expected. I agree. What are you, Sims? Yeah, I should cliff some of this up, too. You're doing it again, Cone. You're painting. You shouldn't be painting. You're gonna get carried away. Back to the path. We have to be able to get into this area, or there's going to be no reason for this area to exist. Wild blue one's finally fixed. And we have made it in! Yay, us! We did a thing. Sort of. Well, we've almost done a thing. We're darn close. Alright, all the paths in this area are probably going to be floaty. That's alright. Is there a more western looking, or at least deserty looking hats place? Probably not. Gift shops? No. Not really. What does that look like? No, those are really bright colors. Versus that one. I at least like that one more. Nah, we already have this one. Let's just move this guy over here. Can I hide it in the mountain? That would be great. Does not seem so. Oh, it did. I hid it in the mountain. Cool. Well, that's perfect. Just needs a path to it. Which will be no problemo. Right. Extend this out this way. Alright, now we're ready. Let's see about building ourselves a coal train. Hopefully that's not terribly expensive. That'll be in the track rides, right? Custom. Do we see coal train? No, there was a roller coaster, huh? It is indeed a mine train canyon runner. That certainly sounds like the correct theme for us here. Let's see. We're gonna want this to be pretty high up over a starting area. Have it over the... Have it like over the opening there. It's the scale of everything now is giving me the impression that I've made this area too small. But I think it's just the weird perspective of this being floating that's doing that to me. Let's see about perhaps starting it up here. I'm freaking out, guys. Procreation regret has broken down. That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. Apparently it's getting a little too old and can no longer procreate. That's alright. You'll get fixed. Someone will patch you up. Alright, I think I'm gonna put it over here. But that's gonna be so floaty. I think I need a flat place to put this, and I might do that over here. But I just put in this whole area. So I'm having serious regrets right now. $1,400 just for that? Shnikes. Alright, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. And we're probably gonna want more station, actually. Left entry station. Oh, that's not gonna fit. Would it fit behind it, perhaps? Alright, well, let's just get out of here. Let's go up. We're gonna need chain lift, of course, to get up. Although technically this could be an instant drop ride, couldn't it? Those would be fun. So yeah, I'm gonna put a little chain here to give people the idea that they're going to have that. But then we're just gonna do instant drop. Do we need chain for this? It should still be pushing the car there, so probably not. Alright, let's do it. This is gonna be a thing. This is gonna be a thing. Real steep drop here. And a bank turn with it. I thought this was gonna be a real, like, kiddie ride, you know, very gentle kind of ride thing, but it's not looking like that's gonna be the case, is it? Alright, so that's all pretty aggressive right there, that's for sure. Let's continue that along here. Let's go back there, actually. And straighten it up. Flatten it out. No, we'll keep the bank in there so that it doesn't break necks. And then flatten it out. And then let's just see, does this have anything else? It has non-inverted stuff. So like a helix. That kind of deal. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, that's a pretty cool little happening there. But I kind of want it to... I don't think we're having the momentum for that. Let's scale. It will go bigger. But I don't think we're going to have the momentum. Looks like, well, somebody... Yeah, we can test it. Let's see that it even gets past this. Alright, can confirm it gets past that first hill. How much speed does it actually build up here? Quite a bit. But I don't think it has nearly enough... Oh, did it just fall off? Oh, we haven't even built this. A deer. Alright, seems like it would, so... We can... possibly do a straight piece off of there. I don't think this is going to be a terribly long ride. Not nearly as large as I expected, but I like that it's using this cavern area. Do we chain lift it from here? We could chain lift it from here. Like a midpoint chain lift. Brakes can only be placed on straight and unbanked. So we must not quite be unbanked yet. Well, let's do that. Then we'll go up and chain. Dig into the ground a bit here. We're gonna wanna get out soon because we gotta meet up to this guy. I'd really like to go right through this cliff face here. That would be nice. It's a bit of a shame that it's getting outside of the grease area, but that's all right. We can always expand that if needed. Then go through it like I wanted. Let's shorten the distance of that. Keep going. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It can do it. It says it can do it. Let's see. I really wanted more station there, though. Might be okay. It's a pretty short-ish ride. If we put 2 cars on it going at a time, I think it would be fine. Let's see. Where is it in testing? It's stuck down there. It might actually not be able to make this hill. 52 miles an hour there. We're losing speed. 28, 17, 15, 14. Not quite able to do it. Alright, that's fine. We can edit down here. Alright, definitely makes it up to that now. I like that it's instant excitement, that it drops right into that cavern there, right off the cliff. And then there's a mid-chain lift. That's a neat aspect. I think we do need 1 helix or something in here, though. Because it's still pretty short. But at least now we'll see that it completes. Not much happens down here. You go through some caves, but that is it. That's not complete. That's not complete at all. Apparently I had never made that change official. But that's, let's stop the test anyway, because I want to put something else in here. That's kind of cool. It turns, like, the wrong way at first into the helix. Will this... No, at the... Yeah, we want that, but I don't think it's gonna auto-complete very nicely there. That looks like a neck snapper. So let's get rid of... Not what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Want to get rid of this piece. Yeah, there we go. Oh, now I got rid of the helix again. Frick on a fricker. Oh, that would be trippy. Turning, like coming off of this and then on an opposite banked turn. That would be pretty trippy there. I bet you that's going to make this thing nauseous. Let's see. Shall we ride? Can we get first row seat? Oh man, that makes it even worse that you can't see where you're going. Oh, I like the way that drops in like that. That's pretty great. That is super aggressive there, though. Ugh, that's super aggressive there, too. I think the fear spike was pretty high on that. We'll have to see what the ratings look like. I may need to chill out that first section a little bit. Let's see what this helix is like. Scenery-wise, it looks pretty good so far. Alright, get off the chain lift, gain some speed. Gains pretty good speed. I like the cave section there. I like the cave section there. Ooh, that end. That end is pretty intense as well. It needs something more, though. It definitely needs more. Got a decent excitement and a decent fear. Fear is actually a little high. But yeah, it just needs a little bit more excitement, I think. There's not enough before the chain lift, and there's not enough after the chain lift. Alright, some slight modifications to the start of this. Another tunnel in here. Not nearly as bad with the sharp turns or sharp inclines. That's way better. Alright, that should improve the scores. And you can see visually what that looks like from the outside. I think that's much better. And you get to enjoy this area a little bit more, and I'll just put in some scenery down here, and we'll be good to go on this ride, I think. We'll see how it scores. Alright, well, I think the good news is that the first ride of Greece is nearing completion here. Just gotta do the pathing for it. Trying my first trigger thing here. Should be triggering a little explosion thing down here when you pop out of this hill, which might be neat. Might be terrible. We'll see. Come on. Please work. Hey, it does. Very nice. Might need a little bit more delay on that. But other than that, let's edit that trigger. Let's do this one. This, yeah. Let's do a 1 second delay on that. That'll be a bit better. So the train's like halfway through. All right. Let's make ourselves an entrance and a path and all that good stuff. Boy, that is quite a path up to this place. Queue scenery rating, 11%. A whole 11%. Is this queue big enough? Probably not. Jem's probably going to be upset again. Alright, well, let's, since I just got a message that, oh god, our vendor for, let me Google that for you, has quit. Probably because that's not doing well, because we don't have any priority passes. And average guest happiness is declining. So, once I get this up and running, I've got to start working on this park. And let's see, cars per train 5. Can we have 2 cars? We cannot have 2 trains. That, my friends, is going to be sadness. That is going to be major sadness. Alright, well, the best I could really do is 2 3-car trains. Hopefully that doesn't break the ride terribly. And we'll just have to deal with that. And the repercussions of that. Get out of there, get out of there. I have spent way too much time working on this ride. Like, way too much time. But I'm gonna name it. We're gonna test it. We're gonna see if anybody wants to ride it anymore. And probably call it an episode. Results are in, and we've ruined this ride completely. Probably because of this right here. Heavy sigh. Alright, well, I think Prasma Platani our first coaster of the Grease Rally area will be complete with this. This stupid roller coaster has about ruined our park. It has taken me so long and so many revisions to get this thing to work for some reason. It just fought me every step of the way. But what we ended up with was a 4.66, a 4.0, and a 2.57. Not really fantastic scores, but not awful either. We'll make it work, and I think it will probably improve once we get some other stuff around it. It's gonna have to do for now, and next time we're gonna have to start our next episode with saving our park more so than working on this ride some more. This has already been probably a rather long video, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a ride of this final revision. Well, we're already in progress. I'll get the next train. Alright, here we go. I don't know what was so tough about this one, but it was a real challenge to get to work. You know, kind of like Grease. A real challenge. It's pretty intense, I'm not gonna lie. These people are cowering in fear, that guy is about to puke. Those guys are literally shaking. Overall, I think they're enjoying it. I really think they're enjoying it. I've got some work to do with my coaster design. This whole process has really made me rethink the designing the scenery first and the coasters second thing. I think the better way to go is probably design your main coaster and then scenery around it. That seemed to work much better for us, or for me anyway. I don't think the second half of the ride is as bad. They don't look as fearful. Okay, they're still in. They were a little happy right there, but mostly fearing the whole thing. I want to hear some of these people's thoughts on this. I have a feeling it's not gonna be good. We're gonna want lots of benches up here, I bet. Alright guys, get over there. I want to hear what you're thinking. They didn't put much effort into this spot. Shut up. I'm never taking this hat off. I didn't queue along. Well maintained. No glowing reviews. But they're headed to the vintage beef. Alright, well, that'll do it for today. Learned a lot. Pretty cool looking area. But we're going to have to really work hard to get our park back up to running and making money and making people happy and all that good stuff next time here in Planet Coaster.